All right, everybody, whoever's out there in digital land, this is Spencer Froh, and with me is Stephan Kammerer, sax player, among other instruments and skills that this man has, and Scott, who created the music video that we're gonna showcase today. The song is called Undercurrents, and yeah, Sean Takahashi, who is the other half of Gozai Master. Here, let me go to gallery view. Look at that. So Gozai Master is me and Sean couldn't make it because we screwed up and forgot that he was an hour behind because he's in Chicago. I'm in New Jersey, and he couldn't make it because there was like last minute realization, and he wasn't. He's like at his kids' schools, like meeting their parents and her. He's their parent, meeting their teachers, and he can't be here, unfortunately. But he does, you know, he does apologize for that. However, I can speak for him. He told me a little bit about what was going on in his head when we were creating this song and the video. So as long as we're here, so once again, I'm Spencer Froh of Gozai Master. The video is now on YouTube. I'm going to play it here, but it's live, and it's going to be live very soon because it takes like 5 days to like officially go onto all these platforms, but it's going to be on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, everything in a little bit. So expect, you'll see Undercurrents there as a single. Among other Gozai Master releases. And on our YouTube, on the Gozai Master YouTube, there's a bunch of videos there. So check this one out, but stay for the others too. And they're all pretty fun and different in their own ways. So I'm going to play that video, but I just wanted to go into like what inspired it and how it came to be. So on my end, yeah, Undercurrents was just one of those things where a very late night kind of like chill vibe, which gave it that sort of underwater feel. That's where Undercurrents came from. Because for me, I remember I just sort of I name things randomly just based on the feeling I'm in when I'm naming. When I have to save the file that I'm recording, it needs a name, and sometimes I don't sit there and like try to get it perfect. But Undercurrents, because it sounded like it was underwater, you hear the guitar. It's actually a synthesizer guitar that Sean is playing, and it's like combined with his bass sounds just very like wet and sounds like you're underwater and hearing it through. If you like dunk your head in the bathtub, you get that sort of muted sound. So that's where Undercurrents came from, and that sort of like late night vibe. And then Undercurrents survived or lived. I kept putting different drums to it, but I couldn't figure out. It took me a while to find the right drums for it, but then it still didn't quite feel like finished. There was something like it needed that oomph, and that's where Stephan came in. So Stephan, I knew him. We were doing this program in New York for like leaders, because we are leaders. And I knew that he played sax, and he was very, very good at sax. And me and him had talked about collaborating for a while, and then COVID came. We were super duper busy in our lives, and we couldn't get together. We couldn't find the time. And then COVID came, and as artists, a lot of artists suddenly had like space because our day jobs kind of got paused. So that's one of the silver linings of COVID, of the quarantine and everything, is that me and Stephan came together. I sent him some tracks he loved, Undercurrents. And yeah, Stephan, what was your experience like? What did you like about the song, and how, what inspired your playing of the saxophone on it?
Well, so when you sent me, I think a handful of tracks, and I listened to them, and then I heard this one here had a really nice, yeah, this cool melody to it. I think it's like a vibraphone or xylophone melody on it, and I just figured that would be a good one to start with because there was something that you'd made on it already. So part of what I did with it was I just learned the melody and recorded the melody, and then I listened for other parts of the song where I could improvise a little bit and, you know, play some hot licks. And I think we sent it back and forth a couple of times. I think you edited a little bit in the overall form of the song, and that was it. And it was really cool to hear it when you had started producing on it, and what you did with the sound of the saxophone, and how I think you edited it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely EQ'd it, gave it that sort of rich, juicy reverb. And man, it's really fun when you hit it, when you get like that saxophone to have that feel to it. It was very satisfying. Saxophone is a very like just gorgeous kind of sound. So that was really fun to mix it into the song. And I think that was your track. Well, first of all, there was the collaboration of that because you recorded that at home with your own microphone.
Yeah,
which was awesome because we were in quarantine. So you were able to just send me a WAV file, like uncompressed audio, and I just synced it up with the song and made it happen. And that was the great thing about, you know, today's technology is we don't have to be in the same room with each other. And you had, you know, the experience enough to understand the basics of recording yourself, which was great. It's good for artists to know at least the enough to get something to an engineer, and it sounded great anyway. And then the other element was, I think it was your saxophone that gave it that sort of film noir, like gave it an extra boost towards that. The thing that eventually inspired Scott to create the video, that sort of like mystery kind of feel to it. That sort of like, I think there's this like old movie, Casablanca kind of like mystery feel to it or something like that. And
yeah,
that made it like, that gave it so much character, which was really fun. And so Scott, speaking of that, what is so when you heard the song, that had been like after the saxophone was added and you experienced it in its current form, what was the what was the impetus to like use the imagery that you used, and how did that come about?
You know, it's sort of just like came to me as an idea very quickly. I'm a big fan of Forensic Files. I don't know if you know the show,
Mm-hmm.
But it's a classic show. It's an amazing theme song. And in the early days of the lockdown, it just sort of coincided, reruns coincided with my dinner. And I ended up, you know, it's an easy show to get sucked into and just kind of watch when you're looking to just kill time. And so it certainly was on the mind. But I heard the song, and I don't know if it was the sax just kind of making me think of, you know, police shows and stuff like that, or Casablanca type stuff, or what. But it just sort of popped in my head as like an idea to sort of just use, you know, all the sort of forensic imagery from the show in a different sort of way.
Yeah, it was so fun. And then the one other thing is you sent back basically that whole video, the whole video minus you actually see, and you can't see his face, but you see Stephan like float by playing saxophone every once in a while. You just see like his hands in the saxophone. And I just wanted to mention that that came about in a very entertaining way. Like, I wanted to get a green screen of Stephan, but he didn't have a green screen. So we actually got on a Zoom call, and I gave him like a green screen background. You know, I have a background right now, the Gozai Master background. I found like the right green screen color, and it was just a raw background. And I recorded him in Zoom, and I was able to, you know, then remove the background and send it to Scott, or he removed the background when he got it. But that was like, yeah, it was lo-fi. Like, it wasn't perfect, because the cool thing about Zoom is I don't have a green screen right now, but it kind of figures out where your body is somehow. I'm not really sure how they do that. Stephan, do you have anything to say about that? What did you Did you think it was going to work?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was a good idea. I didn't know if it was going to work, but when you sent me the green screen, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to put that in the back and let's see what happens. And it's funny because it was really just recorded on, I guess you recorded on your end, right? And I just put up my phone and some lighting, and then that was it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Another testament to what can happen with modern technology. Sean couldn't be here, but the main thing he said that the bass line, the driving bass line, was what inspired his part of the song the creation process. Because I feel like it started with his bass line, and then we built on top of that. And I added synths and some synths, but he also has his guitar synth, which always has like a very special quality to it because he basically plays guitar, but it comes out as an electronic sound, which can sound like anything basically. So he gets very creative with like tuning in that sound. So that's like that gives it kind of that feeling, that underwater feeling, I think was originated from his guitar as well, or his synth guitar. And he wanted to say that that Stephan's saxophone like really added like this amazing quality to it, and he wanted to. You'll meet Sean one day, Stephan, or well, we should like plan another track. We should collaborate again, and then we can talk. But yeah, Stephan actually hasn't met Sean. Scott has known Sean since they were like kids, amazingly enough. I've known Sean since we were college buddies back in like 2001. Oh my gosh, it's been like 19 years. But yeah, basically, and we've been making music since then. That's Gozai Master. I mean, we weren't always Gozai Master, but that's who we are now. And that's 19 years of collaboration and figuring out how to make music using our two very distinct styles together. So I wanted to play the video. Does anyone else have anything they wanted to add, or are we good? Are we gonna do this thing? Okay.
I'm just excited to see the video.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go to share screen and do it up. Here it is. right. Unmute yourselves. So that's it. That's the new video. It's only a little over 2.5 minutes long. Let me stop sharing. I remember that the image of the saxophone player at the end. Like at first, I was like, should we have that there? Are they gonna think that the sax player was murdered? And I was like, it sketched me out the first time I saw it because I'm like, no, he's still with us, and he doesn't have a red afro. But yeah,
I always wanted to get killed in a movie, so
that's the way to go. That's the way to go. That's funny. But yeah, another thing to mention I forgot is I added the do 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 do. That was actually like a sample that I took and I like re-pitched it to fit the song, and but I had my wife like re-sing it over, so you're hearing like several voices, but a couple of them are my wife. She's on a couple other tracks. She's like my go-to backup singer. Although we're gonna see her like fronting something. That's the plan anyway. She can sing. But yeah, so she's in there too. For in her little like little bit, little what's the word where someone comes on for like a second?
Cameo?
Yeah, she's got her little cameo, her little verbal cameo. Thank you. So excellent. Is there anything else you guys noticed like while watching it this time around that made you think of anything interesting?
I think it's fun to hear it again because it's been a while. We recorded this, when was it?
Well, it must have been in like April.
I think so, yeah.
And then things picked up. It was like we had nothing to do for like a month because we were like everything shut down and no one knew what was going on. And then all of a sudden we had to figure out how to pay the bills, and all our organizations we work for figured out how to make things happen. And I feel like the reason you haven't heard it in a while, aside from the fact that it took me forever to like actually do the last 1% to finish it for today, but now it's out there, so I'm sure you'll hear it more and you'll be able to stream it and everything. But basically everything picked up and got crazy again, and I'm really happy that we created something so awesome in that time period. And anyone who's watching, maybe you caught the last one, maybe not, but we had a video release a month ago with Ami Zanders, who's an animator out in she's an artist of all kinds out in Liverpool, of all places, Liverpool in Great Britain. And she animated a video called Insect Armies. So that was also created in the sort of like lull period of the pandemic when artists were kind of like looking to expand their what they were up to. So that's something else to check out. So yeah, this is gonna live on, and it's currently live. If you want to see that again, if you want to show it to all your friends, if you want to stream your own release party for it, then go for it. It's on Gozai Master's YouTube page. Just go to YouTube and look up Gozai Master. It's called Undercurrents. And once again, it's going to be, isn't quite live on everything, but it will be. You can look up Gozai Master on any music platform, iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, all that good stuff. And our music will come up. This song in particular will take a few days. So follow us on Gozai Master and follow me. And Producer's Edge. The Producer's Edge is my organization where we are not just creating cool stuff, but we're also like teaching and doing professional developments with organizations and all this stuff, get people's creativity flowing. So follow all these things, and there's more to come. And I'm super happy you guys are here with me today, because this is something good in a crazy world. It's nice to have some like good art happening. Yeah. And I think that this video and song in particular captures something in this sort of like in this COVID crisis / like political environment that, you know, at least in the world really, but US especially, we're experiencing, is this sort of mystery of like what the hell is going on and who did it, who did this to us, is definitely, you know, like the forensics kind of thing, like the media and political people, like everyone's trying to figure out what's going on in the world right now. So I think this kind of taps into that.
Yeah.
And you can have fun while doing it. Not as depressing as watching the news. So cool. I know it's 7:22. I said till 7:30, but I feel like, you know, that's sort of like the whole vibe right there. Any last words?
Yeah. Any last words? Right. I already died in the movies, though.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did watch it earlier today, and I teared up a little bit. I didn't like cry, but I teared up a little bit at that last scene of the sax player, because I was like, oh man, that sax player. What happened to him?
Maybe they're not dead.
Yeah, it could just be the mystery hasn't been. It's unsolved mystery. Beautiful.
It's a cliffhanger. There's going to be a sequel.
There you go. Undercurrents 2. Sounds like a good name for a movie. We should work on that. We have a theme song right here. Awesome. All right. If there's any, like, you know, people in the film industry listening, here's an idea for you. Hit me up if you want to support it. So thanks again, guys. Love you guys. And this is us, Gozai Master and friends, signing out. Have a good one.
Have a good night.